What's going on, you guys? My name is Russell and you're watching The Bible Man. If you're new to this channel and like the content I make here, please hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and turn on all notifications for any future updates here on my channel. And if you feel like supporting me in any way, shape, or form, you're welcome to go ahead and do so. Links are in the description box below. There you can support me on Patreon. Your help, your support is greatly appreciated here on my YouTube channel. Also, if you can, please share this video with your friends, your family, your loved ones, your friends at your church, your congregation. It will really help me grow here on YouTube and help me reach the YouTube algorithm. Alright, so this is part 3 of my life and my testimony. I'm going to see how far I can drag this on to a part 4, maybe a part 5 and part 6, maybe a 7 if I'm lucky. So in my last video I left off where I was leaving Deborah Vieira, the Vieira group home, and coming to the group home where I'm currently at right now. So I'm going to give you a transpire of events, or a list of events that happened since I've been here. So let me get comfortable, you get comfortable, relax, pull out your popcorn, let's have a story time. When I first met Gloria, and I met the kids here at this group home, it was pretty interesting. I felt relaxed. This is the first group home I ever had my own room, my own personal privacy, my own life. It wasn't an easy start to begin with, but because I was shy, coming out of a very violent and rough environment, and coming out of a very violent and rough environment where you're forced to fight day after day after day, and come into a home where it's calm, relaxed, and everyone's trying to be on your side, it's different. It's surreal. I started at Homestead Senior High in, I want to say, November of 2012. There's really not much I can say about the school other than the school that the teachers, the first 2 years going there, they did teach, but as time went on, they didn't teach or did their job. I was in ESC behavior. I got my standard diploma, but I was in ESC behavior, so my schedule was different from your schedule or everybody else's schedule. And because of the environment growing up, I never had the best social skills or skills to interact with other people. I grew up in such a rough environment. I have a mind of a child and still do. So I never had the best social skills when it comes to interacting with people I don't know. So the majority of high school I stayed to myself and kept to myself, and I was very antisocial. I remember back in 2013 I joined the wrestling team, but because of my age, I was 19 years old, I couldn't stay on the wrestling team because I was legally an adult. And it was a full contact sport. So I left the wrestling team to join United Martial Arts Academy at the Florida City Outlet Mall at that time. The name of my Sifu was Sifu Henry, Sifu Frankie, Sifu Allen. There was this lady who was like this, heavy built, but she was a really nice lady. She was my judo master. I participated in the mixed martial arts class at United Martial Arts Academy for a good 11 months. I went there 4 to 5 hours a day, 5 days a week, and it helped me control my anger, my frustration, gave me an outlet to solve problems. It helped me a lot in a lot of areas of my life that I needed to control my actions. Unfortunately, they switched locations and they went to the Chrome Avenue, and the price went up from $95 a month to $125 a month. So I couldn't stay. And I chose to sacrifice a month at United Martial Arts Academy to take a trip to Orlando to see my family, since I'm all the way down here in Homestead, Florida now. It was the biggest mistake. I didn't need to go to Orlando to see my family, because every time I take a trip to Orlando, they would bring up my past, or bring up my past issues, my past problems, and so on and so on and so on. And for the past 12 years, I've been in a constant state of repeat. I forgive them, I'll let them back in my life, they accuse me, they blame me, I repeat. I forgive them, I'll let them back in my life, I forgive them, I let them back in my life, they accuse me, they hurt me, repeat. And I was at that point in time in 2014 where I chose to block them out completely. In September of 2014. And then there was this complication where that's all I was thinking about, how much they angered me and frustrated me and got me upset, because all they would do is blame me for something that doesn't even involve me no more. They blame me for a part of the past that was in the past, like 5, 10, 15 years ago, that has no relevance for today. Instead of trying to be there for me and tell me how much I've grown, how much I've matured, they instead blame me and accuse me of things that happened a long time ago. So I chose to cut them off at that time. I should probably add this. There was this one occasion I was sitting in the lunchroom. This random guy I don't even know comes up to me. And he tells me this. Hey, so the Lord told me to come to you and talk to you. And I took off my headphones and said, repeat that. The Lord told me to come to you and talk to you. He told me that you're having complications with your family, your mom, your brothers and sisters. He told me everything's going to be all right. And then I responded, what are you talking about? He said that your brother, Jonathan, your sister Sarah, your mom Shelly, I know how things aren't working out between you and them, and how frustrated you are with them. And God wants me to tell you that everything's going to be all right. And then my heart dropped, because my group home didn't know I did that. Nobody living with me at the group home know I blocked them or kicked them out of my life. The kids at the group home didn't know. None of the teachers. None of the students. Nobody. So how did he know? And especially at the time when I didn't even have a Facebook at the time. And I asked myself, wait a second, how does he know all of that, especially their names? Even if Facebook was a thing, how does he connect the dots that she's my mom, he's my brother, he's my sister, and she's my sister, when we look nothing alike? They live in Orlando, I live in Homestead. When it comes to the state of Florida, nobody knows about this except me, and I kept it to myself. And then some random person who knows all about what I'm going through, but I'm choosing to keep it to myself, tells me everything's gonna be alright. Trust God. So something I forgot to mention earlier, so let's back up a year or two. Let's go back to 2013. In my last video, I explained that I was arrested for aggravated battery, assault with a deadly weapon, attempted murder, assault on a teacher, faculty, and staff, assault on on-campus security guard, and assault on a police officer, attempting arrest, among other charges. In the state of Florida, it's a lot more difficult than you may think to get away with all that. I was being faced with those charges. I was let go from the prison system, from the juvenile detention system, and I was sent from one foster home to another group home to another group home to another group home. And in 2013, my parole officer came to Gloria's group home and had a conversation with me and told me, every single charge that was pending against you has been dropped. I'm like, wait, you for real? Yes, every single charge that was pinned against you has been dropped. And I'm like, I got up quick. I went like this, and I started like dancing, man. I started dancing. I was like praising God. And because if rewind the video and you understand, like, those charges in the state of Florida are not easy to get away with. But once more, this is why they dropped the charges, according to my parole officer. My parole officer told me the reasons why they dropped the charges. Get ready. A lack of evidence. A lack of evidence, she said. She said because of a lack of evidence, they dropped the charges. That is a miracle because there were evidence. There were pencils. There was a security guard. There was the police officer, the teacher, the staff, the student, the students in the hallway, security footage, and they said there's a lack of evidence. I don't care what anybody says. That is God's intervention, that He has something planned for my life. Now let's continue on with the story. Back to 2014. Man, at this point, I have seen two miracles in 2014. The charges were dropped. Some kid who doesn't even know me came up to me and tells me a part about me that nobody else knows and tells me everything's going to be alright. Trust God. At a time in my life where I'm going through so much pain, the aggravation and frustration with my own family, some complications with my group home because I'm overcoming and dealing with anger and other stuff. So that leads me to what's going on at the group home. I'm at a point in 2014 and 15 where I'm rebelling against such an awesome and kind lady who invited me into the home. I was doing push-ups, pull-ups, squats, lifting weights, but I was rebelling against the hand who feed me. And looking back on it, I feel ashamed and embarrassed that I did that. And I was putting myself in a situation where I was about to be kicked out again. In January of 2014, I started this program at Project Victory. Project Victory is like a on-the-job training program that takes you from school to a workplace to train you in the workforce. I was there from 2014 to 2016 training at Publix supermarket store number 510 near Homestead, Florida, near Harris Field. And when I first started, I was learning how to stock shelves with this awesome guy named Giovanni. Giovanni was teaching me stuff and helping me learn. Then I went from there to the deli on some days and bakery on other days. One day I started in February of 2014. I put in a job application at at Publix, and I put in an application there and applied for Publix every single day. I put in the application, I updated the application every single month, and I was hired at Publix at 510 through the Project Victory program in 2016, December 12th. it was a really, Publix is a really awesome company. I love Publix. And I'm glad I chose to take those classes at Project Victory. And through the Project Victory class in 2014, I met this really awesome lady who came into my life at a crucial moment where I needed her the most. Her name is Carla. Carla came into my life at a crucial moment where I needed her the most. We started off as talking, then we started off having conversations. We became friends, and then over the course of time, she started bringing her family over, and then over the course of that time, her family became my family, and I eventually got adopted into her family. And while that all started in 2014, to this day, I still go over to her family for 4th of July, Thanksgiving, Christmas, Easter, my birthday, or whenever else they want to spend time with me, I go over there. And Carla is, to me, like a mom. And she is the closest thing I have towards a parental figure. And she reminds me of a lot of Judy Quinn West. And I would do nothing in my entire life to ever hurt her, or to ever push her away, or to ever lose her, because she's such an awesome, kind, and loving person. To me, Carla is family. When my family chose to never be there for me, she stepped in at a crucial point in my life and decided to be there for me and give me so much when I didn't even deserve it. If it wasn't for the Project Victory course I took at Homestead Senior High, I probably would have never met Carla. She chose me out of all the kids to spend time with me and talk to me. And I love Carla because of it. Carla, if you're watching this, you are my mom. May not be related by blood, but to me, you are like my mom. I love you, I care about you, and there's so much I want to do for you. Carla, thank you so much for giving me everything when I deserved nothing. But going into 2016 was a crucial year because I was leaving Project Victory and I was getting hired at Publix. And it was at that point in time, between November and December, between getting hired, when I chose to give my mom a second chance after having her blocked for almost 3 years out my life. And I chose to let her back into my life. And I allowed her to be a part of my life once more. And I almost blocked her again in January of 2017 after she accused me yet again of something I did not say. But I took a couple of deep breaths, slept on it for a couple of days, and said, no, I won't do it. I'm going to give you a couple more chances. So in April of 2017, we went to Walt Disney World at Hollywood Studios, the place where they have the Star Wars theme parks. I could be wrong at the exact location. Me and my brother, we caught up on old times and had a great time there. We had lots of fun. My mom, sister, brother, we did a lot of things at Walt Disney World. We had an awesome time. And they came 3 months later in June for my graduation. They drove all the way down to FIU where my graduation was being held for my graduation from Homestead Senior High. Carla unfortunately couldn't make it because I wanted to patch things up between my mom and family. I kind of spoke to Carla about the situation, and she said she agrees. But it was at that time where I was trying to communicate with my group home and Carla to get them together to tell them that this is Carla. I want to have visitations with her. Now that I'm no longer going to Project Victory, will you allow me to spend time with her outside of work in the group home and go out with her, go to their house and spend time with her and stuff like that? Gloria said yes, and she was okay with it, but that was after high school. So around July of 2017 is where things started to change for me spiritually. And there in July of 2017, I was invited by my group home by one of the kids who lives next door. His name's Jordi Hernandez. And I was invited to a movie night at Redland Christian Academy, also known as Homestead Church of Christ, Christ Corner. And my first night there, I met a couple of really awesome people. Some of them, of course, I recognized. Some of them I went to school with. Some of them I went to school at Lake Mary High School, one actually. But we had a really awesome movie night in the fellowship hall. And because we did a lot of things, some of the faces that I saw then in 2017, like Gabble, Bryce, Brandon, Stephen, among others, were there as well. But the primary reason why I go to this church now is because I was invited by somebody who I live with. And when I was invited to this church, my entire life changed. Now, before Redland Christian Academy, I was already going to Life Point with a friend of mine named Automato. Automato was a high school friend I went with. I was in charge of painting the fellowship hall where the daycare is purple and stuff like that. Me and Automato did a couple of great things. We went to see Jurassic World when it, Jurassic World when it first came out. Then I had another friend I went out with named Roman. Roman was another friend I worked with at Publix at 510. We went back and forth to the Yu-Gi-Oh place that used to exist near Little Caesars in Kendall, down here in Miami-Dade in Florida, next to Ruth the One's Crusade. And we would go every other Saturday to play Yu-Gi-Oh and have fun. So I'm allowed to hang out with friends and family, but they have to check in with my group home first. And I went to church, but I went to Life Point. But this church, when I went, had a lot more fellowship, a lot more brothers in Christ, a lot more opportunities to grow, and a lot more opportunities to grow in the ministry. And never before have I been handed a steak on the silver platter opportunities to grow so much at a church like I did with Redland Christian Academy. And I'm grateful to everyone in the ministry involved in that church. I want to name off the names. Bryce, Brandon, Roman. I knew two Romans. Stephen, Valerie, Mike Hoots, Bill. The missionaries from Texas of Lubbock. Everyone who was involved at the church, I am grateful for, because they were involved in helping me grow so much in my spiritual journey. And if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be where I am right now in my growth with Jesus Christ. And on September 12th, 2018, I got baptized and handed my life over to Jesus Christ. And I became a born-again Christian. And I've been on this spiritual roller coaster ever since then. But let's go back. 2017, I started to go to the church and do series of different things. I started to go to Cutler Bay Park, Biscayne Park, have movie nights, have lock-ins, where we stay from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. Wednesdays, we'll have like J. Farrell Juniors, where we go out to the community and serve the community and the kids and give the Word of God. And then Thursdays, Thursday night Bible studies at the AIM House, the missionary house, or the church house, where they'll have Thursday night Bible studies. Sundays, church. Fridays, fun family events. There was so much going on for me to grow spiritually, and I took full advantage. And we went on a bunch of awesome trips. I remember going to Holy Land. We went to Gatlinburg, Tennessee to have fun at Winterfest. There was so much going on, and I would love to explain it a lot more, but I just ran out of time here on YouTube. So without further ado, if you're looking forward for part 3, please stay tuned for part 3, where I finish the rest of my story, or finish it into 2 more parts. My name is Russell, and you're watching The Bible Man.